Arsenal against Chelsea, a huge London derby in the fight to make top four, alongside it being a massive game as it is. Both teams with a new manager, but Chelsea with a better season so far, as we go head to head in the reverse fixture of the 3-2 home win on the second day of the season. But the main question is, will Chelsea have Gonzalo Higuain signed in time to feature against Arsenal on Saturday? To find out everything about that and everything you need to know about both sides ahead of the game, be sure to watch all of this preview. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my preview of the Arsenal vs Chelsea game taking place on Saturday afternoon at 5:30 PM UK time, obviously at the Emirates Stadium. And first of all, you might be wondering why this preview is out on a Thursday. My previews are never out on Thursdays. Well, to be honest, there's a simple reason for that. It is simply because I'm flying to London tomorrow afternoon, so I will miss the press conference, by Saturday tomorrow, and we'd only get the preview out really late tomorrow, and as we have other bits of content surrounding the game coming out tomorrow anyway, we decided to put this one out today. It's as simple as that, basically. I mean, there's already more than enough interesting things to talk about ahead of this London derby as it is, so, I think this is pretty good, and I hope you enjoy the video. Of course, like I said, this is the preview, other content tomorrow. There will be a review from myself, obviously, straight after the game, a live review, obviously, I will be at the game, and fan cams, a vlog, all sorts of content surrounding the game. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure to subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes on this video. That would be massively appreciated, so please do be sure to smash that like button down below. But now getting straight into the preview and starting it off by speaking about our opposition, Arsenal. And to be honest, the Gunners are having a little bit of a strange season. They currently sit in 5th on 41 points after 22 games, 6 points behind Chelsea, but level with the resurgent Manchester United, only ahead of Man United on goal difference, which for Arsenal is plus 14, scoring 46 goals, which is pretty good, but conceding 32 goals, which is 15 more than Chelsea and more than plenty of teams behind them, have conceded as well. So, their defensive record really hasn't been good so far. Like, their start of the season wasn't great. They lost the first 2 games. They lost against City at home and then against ourselves at the Bridge. Obviously, a tricky start of the season for any team, fair play. But then they went on a 22 games unbeaten run in all competitions, which for quite a while as well was actually a win streak until they drew a game, basically. Then they had a few draws in there, but still didn't lose for a while, until basically the 16th of September when they were beat 3-2 by Southampton. Up until then, they were looking good, scoring goals, winning games, still leaking goals, but winning nonetheless, although slightly lucky in some of the games. But like I said a few weeks ago when they lost to Southampton, that changed. That was followed then by a League Cup loss to Tottenham, a draw against Brighton, a 5-1 hammering, like absolute battering by Liverpool at Anfield, and last weekend, a 1-0 loss away at West Ham. But to be honest, they're in all sorts of trouble, like all over the place. The highest paid player, Mesut Ozil, their manager Emery, doesn't like him, it seems, doesn't want to play him anymore. He was apparently fit, to feature against West Ham last week. Didn't even make the bench. Rumours saying that they even want to get rid of him if they can, which it doesn't look like they can. Aaron Ramsey is leaving for Juventus on a free in the summer after his contract is running out and they weren't willing to extend it to his demands, basically. And also, they have to stick to loan transfers. They cannot afford to make any permanent signings, this window. Again, according to their manager. So, at Arsenal at the moment, it's just not going that well. But even with their recent struggles, Arsenal aren't a bad team in the slightest. Defensively, they are questionable. But going forward, with Aubameyang on 14 goals and Lacazette with 7 goals, they are always a goal threat. Mkhitaryan, who, also had like 4 goals, I think, so far this season, is, as far as I'm aware, injured. Obviously, the press conference by Emery hasn't taken place, thus far either, so he might be back in time. I don't think so, though. And Mesut Ozil, like I said, he doesn't seem likely to play whether he's fit or not. So, Aubameyang and Lacazette certainly are their main threats going forward. And then, more often than not, recently at least, they've played in a 3-4-3 formation. Although against Liverpool, a top 6 team, they've played in a 4-2-3-1. And they also did so against us, obviously, but that was back on the second day of the season. But, that seems to be more like the formation they use against the bigger teams. Although they lost against us. They lost against Liverpool recently in that formation as well. So they might change it up. Who knows? I mean, their football generally is kind of similar to the football that Saudi likes to play. I mean, they like to have the ball. Obviously, they're a top 6 team. Against most teams, they have most of the ball. They like to pass it out from the back, although not in the exact same style as we try to do. I mean, with using wing-backs, obviously, like I said, mostly using a 3-4-3 formation, and therefore having the wingers a lot tighter, their midfielders aren't as, as crucial in, obviously, the final third, let alone the box. So it's kind of more about the wing-backs and the wingers, and obviously then the striker, basically, to, be dangerous in that area, as obviously we have 3 midfielders, at least one of the midfielders has more of a job to do in that final third. But also in the 4-2-3-1, it is different in the sense of just not having one register, one kind of like deeper midfield than all the others, but they just have 2 holder midfielders basically, which obviously changes things to an extent in the whole build-up basically phase. The original idea for them is also to press the opponent, although just like ourselves, they've kind of not been doing that as much lately. Like, I have no idea why the both of us aren't really doing that as much anymore. I know that both of the managers would like to see that more than they are seeing it on the pitch. No idea exactly why. Maybe fatigue. Obviously, that has come into it. Maybe because of that, we will see it again more now. Obviously, we had the week off. Arsenal had this week and the week before off with, obviously, the Arsenal game in between. But still, maybe we'll see it more. I still find it a little bit weird why both teams aren't doing that as much anymore as we did at the start of the season. So overall, we just have to be careful at the back. That's the most important thing, and just very, very concentrated. Especially, we can't allow Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to make unmarked runs in behind with his ridiculous pace. Like, the guy is so fast. Like, we have to be so careful and concentrated not to let him get in behind and obviously just find himself with an easy chance. And then going forward, if we pass the ball quickly and move around a lot, like our players have to move around a lot. So much movement off the ball, on the ball, we have to move so much. But if we do that, we will hurt them. I'm absolutely certain of it, that if we do that, we will score. Probably more than one. The question just is, will we move enough and pass quickly enough? But obviously, even if we do all of that, it's still not going to be an easy game. I mean, we couldn't beat Arsenal at the Emirates under Antonio Conte. But I mean, we won the league and we still couldn't win there. I mean, we lost 3-0. Obviously, that was before we changed formation, basically. But, now it's a different situation, different manager. They also have a different manager. So let's beat them under Sarri. Obviously, let's beat them on Saturday at the Emirates. But now, obviously, like I said at the beginning, this is Thursday. So the press conference can't really talk about that today because it's only happening tomorrow. But if anything important is said by Sarri tomorrow, we'll either make kind of a quick separate video about it or just inform you on Twitter, basically. So be sure to follow myself at Laos1507 on Twitter. You can see it over here, and also the link to it is down in the description, as well as the links to the channel social media accounts, where you will also find some, updates if there is anything important that Sarri did have to say in the press conference tomorrow. But with that, now just coming straight to Chelsea. And to be honest, it is a little bit tricky to talk about who's going to play, because we might well have a new player in time for him to debut against Arsenal. And that is, as I assume all of you will know, Gonzalo Higuain. According to every reliable and big outlet in Italy, Chelsea have found an agreement with AC Milan, Juventus and the player. Obviously, he is on loan at AC Milan from Juventus, and we had to kind of find agreements with the both of them and obviously the player. So from the sounds of it, the only things missing are basically his medical and his signature. There will of course be a much more detailed video on him if and when we do sign him officially, but obviously as for now, it is reported that we actually got ourselves a deal that me personally, I am very, very happy with. So apparently it is a 6-month loan, after which we then have the option to either sign him permanently or loan him out basically for another 12 months. So, him be at Chelsea for, another 12-month loan. But basically, what is apparently the situation is that we can have Gonzalo Higuain, a proven goalscorer, especially under Maurizio Sarri, a guy that scored 36 goals in 38 games under our current manager only 3 years ago. Three years ago isn't that long. And we can basically have him for 18 months without actually buying him. If that turns out to be true, Marina Granovskaya, fair fucking play to you. Yes, I know he might not have scored all that much this season, only 6 goals if I'm not mistaken, but let's not forget how poor AC Milan are at the moment. I mean, they're 5th in the Serie A, but they're 22 points behind Juventus after just 19 games. And to be honest, for a club of the size of AC Milan, even though their recent years have been, kind of struck by a lot of struggles as well, that's ridiculous. Like, to be honest, at the moment, watching them play, I haven't watched too many of the games, but maybe 5, 6, 7 games of them, they look worse than Everton. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't expect any striker to score like 20 goals or 15 goals in 19 games if you're playing for a team worse than Everton. Do you know what I mean? So he knows the system. And yes, well, he isn't the fittest player and he isn't the fastest player either. And he's also 31 years old. He's not exactly a pushover player. He knows how to handle himself. That's why I think he won't struggle all too much with going to the Premier League. He's, has so much international experience playing for, especially Real Madrid, obviously in the Champions League. Also for Napoli in Europa League and Champions League as well. But Italy isn't exactly like, a league where you can just kiss each other instead of, shoving, pushing shoulders, basically, whatever the word is. Italy is quite rough as well. Maybe not as much as the Premier League, but it's not like an easy peasy league. More so than, in my opinion, the La Liga. Like, it is a bit of a tougher league than Spain. So, I think he's going to do fine, to be honest. I think he could get us those vital goals, especially against the smaller teams, against whom we kind of needed more than against the big teams anyway, because against the big teams, we've been doing it all right as it is. But against the smaller teams, we just struggle to break them down. And then that is really when we are missing a clinical striker that we kind of need. And Higuain has always been known to kind of bottle it at the very, very biggest stage. Obviously, he bottled like multiple penalties in Copa America, basically penalty shootouts in Copa America finals. He bottled the 1-on-1 against Neuer in the 2014 World Cup final with Argentina. And obviously he's also missed a huge penalty for AC Milan this season against Juventus in the league, if I'm not mistaken. He's not the best under the biggest amount of pressure. But That's not where we need him for. Like I just said, against the big teams, we're doing all right anyway. So, we kind of need him more against the small teams. And that's, beating those, unlike we have done recently when you get those silly draws or those silly defeats. If he can, help us not, get those silly results, we will make top 4. And Alvaro Morata, if, or rather when Higuain does sign for Chelsea, looks very likely to join Atletico Madrid on loan with an option to buy as well. Higuain, by the way, would need to be registered by 12 PM lunchtime tomorrow to be eligible to play against Arsenal on Saturday. Whether we will get that done in time, we'll just have to wait and see. So the team I am expecting on Saturday against Arsenal, assuming there is no new injuries that we don't know about. Obviously, we do know about Loftus-Cheek being out, but if there's no new ones, the team that I'm expecting to see is this. Kepa Arrizabalaga will certainly be in goal. He will, of course, play in the 4-3-3 formation. The back 4, I'm almost certain, will be Azpilicueta, Marcos Alonso, Antonio Rudiger, and David Luiz, even though Christensen played instead of David Luiz against Spurs, obviously in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. The midfield 3, well, it's just going to be Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté, and Mateo Kovacic, if none of them are injured or ill or anything like that. And then I actually think whether Higuain is registered, is signed in time or not, he won't start the game. I don't think he will start the game. At the max, he will come off the bench and he will come on during the game and hopefully help us towards the end of the game. But I actually think that we will stick to the no real striker front 3 of Willian on the left, Pedro on the right, and Hazard down the middle as the false 9, if you will. Now, like I said earlier, we need to be concentrated and we need to be careful at the back and then move as much as possible while passing the ball just very quickly when we are going forward. If we do all of that, I am confident that we will beat Arsenal. And I'm also more confident that we will do that than I have been in the last few weeks, simply because for the first time since September, we actually had no midweek game this week. The players had a couple of days off, and then obviously they would have started training and preparation for Saturday's game, hopefully a lot more rested and just sharper as well. Obviously, Arsenal also have the week off, but they did so as well last week, and then still lost 1-0 to West Ham. So hopefully he can help us more than them, I guess. Now, my score prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Chelsea. I might have sounded a little bit more confident than my score prediction now might suggest, but at the end of the day, all I really care about is that we win the game, not by how much we win the game. All I care about is if we win the game. If it's a 95th minute 1-0 win, if it's a first minute goal 1-0 win, I don't care. And if we smack them 5-0, great. But at the end of the day, all I care about is that we beat them basically. And if we do win, it would be a huge, huge win. Beating them, in my opinion, would almost take Arsenal out of the race for top 4, as they would be 9 points behind us. Of course, they can catch up 9 points and we can get silly results. But realistically, catching up 9 points without playing us again is very, very tricky. So that would help us out a lot, in my opinion. But yeah, that's really it for me. Leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Your predicted lineups, obviously still not knowing what Sarri is going to say in the press conference. Your predicted lineups, your score predictions, your opinions on Gonzalo Higuain, if obviously that does come true. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we're going to hit 400 or more likes in this video. So please do be sure to smash that like button down below. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Lars1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description below. So if you could follow me over there, I would absolutely love you for it. And of course, this is YouTube, so if you haven't already, please do be sure to subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of the future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I can't wait to go to the game. I can't wait to go to London, up to Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.